Sometimes a home does not break with a loud noise. It breaks quietly, like a glass that slips from someone's hand in a busy kitchen. The sound is sharp for a second, but after that, people just stand there staring at the pieces on the floor, not knowing where to begin picking them up. Grace's home had begun breaking long before she ran out of the gate that night. But that night, that was when the glass finally hit the floor. Grace didn't even remember opening the gate. One moment, she was inside the compound, tears burning in her eyes. And the next moment, she was outside, running down the road like the darkness itself was chasing her. Her father's voice still rang in her ears. "How dare you report and lie to your teacher? Your stupid mother is at fault for all of this. A harlot's daughter." The words kept crashing against her mind as she ran. Her chest felt tight as she wiped her face again and again. "I didn't lie," she whispered breathlessly. The road ahead looked blurred through her tears. Street lights flickered in patches along the roadside, and the occasional car passed with a low hum. Grace walked quickly, her slippers scraping the ground, her heart pounding hard against her ribs. "Daddy didn't even ask me what happened," she murmured. Her breathing became uneven as she stepped closer to the roadside. Then suddenly, a horn blasted. Grace froze. Bright headlights swallowed her in a harsh white light. The tires screeched loudly. "Hey!" But the shout came too late. The car struck her before she could move. For a brief second, the sky spun above her. Then everything went dark. The woman driving the car gripped the steering wheel tightly. "My God," she whispered. Before he could say another word, her husband had already opened the door. "Come quickly," he called. They rushed to where the girl lay on the road. Mrs. Osei knelt beside her immediately. "Oh no, she's just a child." Her voice trembled as she touched Grace's shoulder. Mr. Osei crouched beside them and quickly checked the girl's pulse. He waited. Then he exhaled slowly. "She's alive." Mrs. Osei closed her eyes briefly in relief. "Then we must hurry," she said. Together they carried Grace carefully into the back seat and drove straight to the hospital. During the drive, Mrs. Osei kept turning around to look at the girl lying there. Her face looked so small and helpless under the passing street lights. Something stirred quietly inside Mrs. Osei's chest. Grace remained unconscious for 2 days. The Oseis visited constantly. Sometimes they sat quietly beside the hospital bed, saying nothing. Sometimes Mrs. Osei adjusted the blanket or brushed Grace's hair away from her face. On the second evening, as Grace slept, the couple stood by the window in the hospital room. Mr. Osei spoke quietly. "When she wakes up, we must find her family." Mrs. Osei nodded slowly. "Yes, of course." But her face remained on the girl. There was a quiet ache in her chest she had carried for years. The ache of wanting a child. Not just the thought of having one, but the little everyday things. Plating her in the morning, packing lunch boxes, hearing someone call her mama. She and her husband had tried. Hospitals, prayers, even conversations about adoption. But whenever they reached the final step, they stopped. Something about starting life from the beginning with someone else's child had felt frightening. So they had learned to live with the emptiness. But now, standing there, looking at the girl sleeping in the hospital bed, Mrs. Osei felt something shift inside her. She looks so alone, she murmured. Mr. Osei glanced at his wife. You are thinking about keeping her, aren't you? Mrs. Osei sighed softly. I don't even know what I'm thinking. She folded her arms gently. But when I look at her lying there, something in me refuses to walk away. Her husband studied her face carefully. He had noticed the way she washed the girl, the way she adjusted the blanket, the way she spoke to her carefully. This was not just about the child. This was about his wife's heart, about the quiet pain she had carried for years. He placed a hand on her shoulder. Let's wait until she wakes up, he said softly. Grace opened her eyes later that evening. The room smelled strongly of medicine. She blinked slowly, trying to focus. Mrs. Osei leaned forward immediately. Hello, dear. Grace's voice came out weak. Where am I? In the hospital, Mrs. Osei said gently. You were hit by our car. Grace blinked again as the memory returned. The road, the lights, the horn. Her lips trembled. Am I going to die? Mrs. Osei quickly shook her head. No, you will recover. Mr. Osei stepped closer. Do you remember where your home is? Grace hesitated. Then the tears came. I want to go home, she whispered. Her voice broke. I just want to explain things to my father. Mrs. Osei gently held her hand. What happened? Grace swallowed hard. I didn't lie when I told my teacher the truth, she said slowly. Her eyes filled with tears again. I thought it was for the better. Someone needed to come to our rescue. Her voice trembled. But when they heard about it, she paused, gripping the bedsheet tightly. They beat me. The room became quiet. Grace looked down at her. I was only trying to help, but Daddy beat me. He beat me. Then she added softly, but my brother, he must be worried. Back at home, Dan was already worried. The lively boy everyone knew in class had become quiet. He hardly spoke in class anymore. Sometimes he simply stared at his desk for long periods. His class teacher noticed the change, and in the afternoon, Miss Mensah walked to his class. Dan, she asked gently, is everything all right at home? Dan nodded quickly, but his eyes were already filled with tears. A few days later, Miss Mensah decided to visit the house herself. She knocked on the door. Chewa opened it with a tired expression. Yes, I'm Dan's teacher, Miss Mensah said politely. I came to ask about Grace. Chewa shrugged. She ran away. Miss Mensah frowned slightly. Have you tried to find her? Chewa waved her hand dismissively. That girl will come back when she's ready. But as Miss Mensah walked away from the house, something about the situation troubled her deeply. Meanwhile, Grace slowly recovered, and with each day, Mrs. Osei felt that same quiet pull in her heart. Not pity, something deeper, something that felt strangely like belonging. Until one afternoon, Grace walked past a fruit stall and heard a woman's voice that stirred something deep in her memory. Grace slowed down. She turned. The woman was arranging oranges on a wooden table. For a moment, their eyes met. Grace quickly looked away and continued walking. But after a few steps, she stopped. Something inside her chest stirred. Without fully understanding why, she turned back. I want to buy some oranges, she said to the woman. The woman looked up, and in that moment, what Grace saw in that moment changed everything.